Hey everybody, it's Yonan from Yonan's Edge, and today I'm bringing you the Spartan Talos. Let's jump right in with some specs. We got Carpenter CTX XHP steel. There we go. We've got a flat grind, stonewash drop point, textured G10 scales on a liner lock with some pretty solid lockup, as you can see. This is on phosphor bronze washers, and it has a deep carry clip on it that's made out of tie. We've got 3 1/8 inches of usable fine edge here on the blade. We've got a scale length of 4 inches. We've got a tip to tail length of almost exactly 7 inches and a weight of 2.35 ounces, so pretty light knife. Let's talk about my likes and initial impressions. Since I love the Spartan Harsey, I figured I'd give the Talos a go. There's lots to like here on this knife. Solid ergos. Nice texturing on the scales. Let me see if I can get you a better shot of that. There we go. You can see the texturing on this thing's really good. There we go. Both sides. Yep. You've got some good spine jimping up here. I like how they do their jimping in that kind of block style. It's not too aggressive, but it's enough to let you get your hands on there. You can also, choke up into more of a pinch grip on this knife. It's still pretty comfortable there as well. So the ergos are pretty solid on it. It only deploys through one method, and that is via thumb studs, but they're done really nice. They're rounded off. They don't stick out past the sides of the knife, as you can see. So there's nothing to catch your fingers on when you put your hands in your pockets. And fires out there nice. Sounds really, really good. The knife also has a solid pocket clip on it. You don't really feel it at all when it's in your hands. It kind of sets right here in this meaty part of your fingers. And again, I have large glove size hands, and here in hammer grip, there's still a little bit of room back there. If you got big, beefy, wide, chunky hands with really thick fingers, this will probably be a little short for you. You're probably gonna feel more like you're like this off the back of it. But this is, it's pretty good size. I mean, like I said, there's a little bit of room back there. The Carpenter CTX XHP steel, this has held up really well. I have actually carried this knife a very good amount. This has been used quite often at work over the last few months. I haven't had to do anything except lightly strop this a couple times. So nice stone washing, matches all the finish on the rest of the knife. The clip is held up pretty well, only has a couple very, very little shiny spots right here at the end of the clip where it kind of rubs against my clothes or whatever I'm wearing. But other than that, the knife's held up beautifully. No major nick scratches. That's one of the reasons why I love stonewashed blades. They tend to hide all the little scratches that you get. The clip does leave a tiny bit of the knife out in your pocket. So if you're carrying it, obviously, here's where it's going to rest in your pocket. There's a little bit sticking out, but honestly, it's arced back away from the front of your pants when it's in your pocket. So you don't really, this isn't going to bother anybody. I've never bent over and had it poke me or anything like that. So a lot of the knife is buried inside your pocket. And the knife is a great EDC knife. It really, really carries well. It's got pretty good balance. Look, that's pretty darn close to the pivot, right? So the balance on the knife is good. Feels good in your hand, carries well in your pocket, not super thick, not super thin either. The other thing I do like about this is they gave you a nice sharpening choil here for sharpening the knife. So you could actually, this thing holds an edge really well, but there's plenty of years of service in this blade with a choil that's that deep on the back. So kudos to Spartan and to Harsey, Mr. Harsey, for designing that into the knife as well. And again, if you do need to, touch up the edge or anything like that, there's plenty of room there. You hopefully won't make a mistake. are there any issues or dislikes about the Spartan Harsey? So it's a liner lock, and it's got a nested liner. But then on the other side of the knife over here, hopefully you guys can see this, there is no liner. So there's a liner on this side, which makes up the liner lock. But this side over here is basically just, there we go, is basically just the G10 on these finished standoffs. Now that's not to say that this knife doesn't feel solid and durable. It does. But what that means is because you only have one set of stainless steel liners, you're basically not going to be really, cranking on this knife or hard using it. But if you're going to use it as an everyday pocket knife and you're looking for something in the medium-sized range, small to medium-sized range, or smedium, then this might be your ticket. I've really truly enjoyed carrying this knife. It's become one of my favorite knives that I bought this year, and really enjoyed this thing a lot. So I'm super excited to finally do a review on this. Again, great fit and finish, great looking knife, solid ergos, good build quality on this thing for sure. The only other thing I would say is I wish they'd make a bigger version of this. Something a little just scaled up, a little longer handle, maybe say an inch. Give me another half an inch or an inch of blade out here. And I think this would be a fantastic knife. It would be more like a budget version of the Saint, right? The Harsey Saint, this is kind of a scaled down version of that knife, generally speaking. And the Saint would be a little bigger. So let me do a couple size comparisons for you real quick. I pulled out some knives so we can give you a good idea. So let's start out with a knife everybody knows and probably a lot of people own, which is the Benchmade Bug Out. So here they are, pivot to pivot. And you can see these are very close in size, right? Very close. The Bug Out has a little bit more overall handle length here in the back, but the Spartan Talos does have kind of a curved handle design that lends itself to a nice solid grip, but very close to a Bug Out. Here's another knife that a lot of people, including myself, feel is a better version of a Bug Out, but is often compared to it, and that is Hogue's Deca. Okay, this one happens to be the clip point in 20 CV, but you can see very similar blade length, very similar handle style, a little bit more handle out here off the back of the Deca. And then finally, I'm going to give you a little higher end knife. So this is actually the ZT Knives Sinkovich. Okay, this is a pretty expensive knife, higher end steel, fancy anodized pivots, all titanium frame lock, but again, the same, almost identical size knife as the Sinky. So I really feel like it's misleading. This knife does look small, but it actually has a good amount of handle space for purchase of your fingers, and it fits into the same basic size category as a lot of other popular knives that people already know and love. So if you like these and you're looking for something a little less expensive that maybe you're going to put through a little bit more use, I would also say if you're going to compare this to a Bug Out, the Bug Out scales, you can bend them and flex them and all that. It never feels like it's really sturdy in your hand. This knife, the Talos, feels way more substantial than a Bug Out. Even though it only has the liner on one side, the G10 is thick enough and strong enough that this knife does not have any flex. You cannot bend these scales. So if I were going to pick one of the two of these to take with me and feel like I could use it, I would feel like I could use the Talos more for more cutting purposes than I could the Bug Out. But there you go. There's some good size comparisons for you of the Spartan Talos to some other popular knives. So let me summarize. There's a lot to like about the Talos, but it's around $110 to $115. You can find it on sale sometimes for around $90 to $95, which I think is a fantastic bargain. So while it's affordable, it's not exactly budget-minded. Just keep that in mind. So nevertheless, this is a great EDC knife. I would highly recommend it in this medium size category. That's all I got for you today, guys. Again, this is the Spartan Knives Talos. Check it out if you get a chance. I'm glad that you guys stopped by. Thanks as always for watching, and stay sharp.